From New York City on a beautiful day. Welcome back to Credit Card Debt Ends Here, the podcast by Georgiou Law, PLLC, where we help New Yorkers take back control from credit card companies and debt collectors. I am your host, Efstathios Georgiou. If you've been sued for credit card debt, today's episode is essential. Being sued does not necessarily mean the creditor automatically wins. In fact, many cases fall apart once the defendant knows how to respond. So in this episode, I'll walk you through 3 robust legal defenses that can lead to a dismissal or a significant reduction in what you owe, even if the debt feels overwhelming. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not legal advice, and listening does not create an attorney-client relationship. For personalized help, call me directly at 917-764-3072 or visit GeorgiouLawPLLC.com. That's Georgiou Law PLLC.com. Now, let's get into it. The first defense, and one of the most common, is lack of standing. In plain English, this means that the company suing you may not actually be able to prove that it owns your debt. Yes. Let me explain. When you default on a credit card, the original lender, like Capital One or Citibank, may sell that debt to a debt buyer like Portfolio Recovery or Midland Funding. These companies pay pennies on the dollar, and then they try to collect the full balance from you. But here's the catch. They need to prove with a paper trail that the debt was legally transferred from the original creditor to them. This is called the chain of title in the legal world. They need to prove 3 things. Number 1, a bill of sale. Number 2, an assignment of accounts. Number 3, your specific account information tied to that sale. And very often, they don't have that. If they can't prove ownership, they do not have standing to sue you, and the case can be dismissed. The second defense is one a lot of people do not realize they have, and it's a big one. Statute of limitations. In New York, the statute of limitations for credit card debt is 3 years from the date of your last payment or account activity. Let me repeat that. In New York, the statute of limitations for credit card debt is 3 years from the date of your last payment or account activity. If that time has passed, the creditor cannot legally sue you, even if you still owe the money. Here's the trap, however. If you make a partial payment or acknowledge the debt in writing, you may inadvertently reset the clock. That's why it's essential to speak with a lawyer before you respond to any letters or calls from collectors. At Georgiou Law, we review the timeline of every case to see if the lawsuit is time-barred. If it is, we move to dismiss. The third defense is improper service, and it's exactly what it sounds like. When someone sues you, they're legally required to serve you with the court papers in a precise way. They can either hand deliver to you personally, deliver to someone of suitable age and discretion at your home, or a copy mailed with a follow-up. But here's the thing. It often doesn't happen the right way. We've had clients who were never served at all. Others where papers were left at the wrong address. And in one case, the client's name was completely misspelled in the court records. If you were not properly notified about the lawsuit, you may have grounds to vacate a default judgment or to challenge the case entirely. Courts take proper service seriously. If it did not happen, the whole case could be invalid. Now, what happens if more than one of the defenses applies? Well, that's where Georgiou Law gets to work. Let's say that the debt buyer cannot prove ownership, that the lawsuit is outside of the statute of limitations, and that you were never served correctly. That's what we call a trifecta. We can move to dismiss the case entirely, or leverage those weaknesses to negotiate a dramatically reduced settlement. And at Georgiou Law, we explore every possible defense for our clients. You'd be surprised how often these lawsuits collapse once we push back. So let's recap. If you're being sued for credit card debt in New York, don't assume the worst. You may have a lack of standing defense, a case that's past the statute of limitations, or you were never served properly. Any one of these can lead to a dismissal. At Georgiou Law, we dig deep and we fight back. If you're facing a credit card lawsuit, call me today at 917-764-3072. You have rights, you have defenses, and you have a law firm that knows how to win these cases. Thank you for listening to Credit Card Debt Ends Here, and be sure to subscribe, share, and check out our next episode, where we'll talk about how to legally stop debt collectors from harassing you. Until then, stay informed and stay empowered.